In today's bite-sized clip, I'm going to share with you 3 simple and useful examples where brands have engaged with sports fans to create a stronger emotional bond. I'm Darryl Evans, founder of Rocket Yard Sports, and if you like what you hear today, tell your friends by sharing this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get back into engaging with sports fans. What does that even mean? Well, for the purpose of this particular video, I'm not talking about creating content and getting people to like it on social media. That's great and all, but what I'm talking about is engaging with people directly, as in the flesh, person to person, human interaction. But why is this so important? Because statistically, human interaction with the brand means you're 4 times more likely to close a sale versus traditional print or digital only marketing initiatives. More and more brands want to create outstanding fan experiences, so those potential customers will have some form of affinity and affection for that particular brand when it does come time for them to make a purchasing decision. But that's not all, folks. You see, dollars, pounds, and Bitcoin are not the only currency in town, but data, as in your personal data, most definitely is. Creating rock-solid fan experiences with either sports events or athletes is a surefire way to help brands capture personal data and then use that information later on to engage with those people through other online campaigns. So let me tell you 3 ways other brands have used fan experiences to drive their commercial interest forward. Firstly, let's talk about sampling. Sampling is when brands sponsor sporting events and part of that sponsorship is to have their products on site so sports fans can touch and feel their products and experience those brands in a slightly more personal way. In other words, they can sample the product. A good example of this is what Hyperice do. Hyperice produce innovative products that are designed to help people relieve tension, unlock sore muscles, and essentially get people moving in the way that they should. This right here is actually one of the products they make. And with the amount of effort it takes me to play golf, I've got to use this beast all the time. Anyway, these guys are partnered with major sports leagues around the world, such as the NFL, UFC, and even the Springboks rugby team, of course. When they're at these events, they create what they call recovery zones. And they do this for the players, and they also do this for the fans on site. And this is where they take people, get them seated in a Hyperice booth or stand, and actually test out the products for themselves. If the customer sees the benefits straight out the gate, they are then in the ideal place to make a purchasing decision and buy a product on the spot. They'll use this opportunity to get people familiar with the product, and at the same time, they'll ask them to fill in a short questionnaire which helps them capture the fans' personal data. Pretty simple, huh? Another way to engage with brands is to learn a good strategy from the likes of Taylormade Golf. They have a pretty interesting way of getting fans to engage with them, as this kind of campaign is initially driven through social media, but in the end becomes a personal human interaction between the sports fan and Taylormade. They have this interesting concept where you can test their latest products. What they'll do is get their sponsored athletes and influencers to put out a social media campaign saying they are looking for wedge testers. This is the opportunity where fans can become an official golf club tester, which helps Taylormade create a closer bond to the golfer. But it also means that for all those fans who want to become a wedge tester, what they will need to do is hand over their email addresses in order to have the opportunity to be selected. This kind of campaign is great for the sports fan, because how cool would it be to be a club tester for a major golf brand like Taylormade? But it's also something that is aspirational too. So even if you are not lucky enough to be selected, you'll really wish that you were. And that also creates brand affinity between obviously the brand and the sports fan. And that's another clever way to engage with an audience and capture their data in a very meaningful way. Now, finally, to my third point, another smart way, and this way has actually been around since Jesus was a small boy, but it has been proven to be one of the most sought after fan experiences in sport, and that is getting inside the ropes, hanging out where the players hang out. And the best example I can give you here is motorsport, in particular Formula One. When watching the coverage, you always see celebrities and fans actually inside the garage during races. We all know these tickets can cost a fortune, but for the right brands who are paying for these tickets by accessing it through sponsorship, they will use this to entertain prospective clients. It's often a valuable way to earn new business, or in fact, in some of these guys' case, it might be a good way to maintain current business relationships. But I recognize that that example is more of a B2B type of experience. But this concept is transferable to other sports and situations. In golf, the big manufacturers like Callaway, Titleist, Ping, Strixon and others will often have their regional sales reps come onto the truck, bringing on a mixture of customers and fans to have a look at where the best players in the world get their clubs made. So giving people insight into what it's like behind the curtain is another great way to create brand affinity, and also another great way to capture data. So there you have it. 3 really simple ways brands use to create engaging fan experiences. Hyperice with their test the products yourself approach, Taylormade's become a wedge tester campaign, and Motorsport's get inside the garage approach are 3 simple ways to leverage your sports sponsorship programs to create a closer and more emotional bond to the everyday sports fan. And that's a wrap, folks. But before you go, I want to say thanks for watching the video. And if you want to jump on a call to talk about how best to position your brand within sport and how to develop a meaningful sponsorship program, then pick up the phone. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And finally, don't forget to like this post, subscribe to our channel, and tell us what you want to learn more about in the interesting world of sponsorship by leaving a comment down below. See you all next time.